Have you ever wondered what our planet was like almost 500 million years ago? Long before dinosaurs roamed the Earth, there was an era when the oceans were the bustling, vibrant centers of life. Welcome to the Ordovician Period, a time of incredible innovation and dramatic change, lasting from about 485 to 444 million years ago. Picture a world where the continents look nothing like they do today, and vast, warm, shallow seas cover most of the planet. This was the perfect stage for life to truly take off. Following the famous Cambrian Explosion, which gave us the basic blueprints for most animal life, the Ordovician was like the grand, spectacular sequel. The oceans weren't just experimenting anymore, they were building sprawling, complex cities of life. The stars of this ancient ocean were the stunning coral reefs. But these weren't the corals we know today. These were ancient, pioneering forms, building massive underwater structures that provided homes for an incredible variety of creatures. Think of them as the first great metropolises of the sea. And who were the citizens of these cities? Well, the seas were absolutely teeming. Trilobites, those iconic armored arthropods, were everywhere, scuttling across the seafloor in hundreds of different shapes and sizes. Alongside them were brachiopods, creatures that looked a bit like clams but were a completely different group. They anchored themselves to the seabed, filtering food from the water with their intricate tentacles. The cast of characters also included graceful, tentacled mollusks, the ancestors of modern squids and octopuses, gliding through the water. But the most revolutionary development of the Ordovician was the arrival of our own distant ancestors, the first true vertebrates. These weren't fearsome predators with huge jaws. They were small, armored, jawless fish. Imagine a creature covered in bony plates, filter feeding from the seafloor. They might not seem like much, but they were a monumental step in evolution. They were the first animals with a true backbone, a design that would eventually lead to fish, amphibians, reptiles, and yes, even us. The Ordovician was the period where our own family tree officially put down its roots. While the oceans were the main stage, something subtle but incredibly important was happening on the fringes. On the damp, marshy shorelines, the very first primitive plants began to take hold. These weren't towering trees or colorful flowers, but more like simple mosses and liverworts, forming green mats on wet rocks. This was the first whisper of life's greatest adventure, the conquest of land. These tiny pioneers were paving the way for the lush forests and green landscapes that would one day cover the globe. For millions of years, this warm, stable world allowed marine biodiversity to explode. Life was good, the oceans were full, and evolution was running wild. But every great story has a turning point, and the Ordovician's was a dramatic and devastating one. Toward the end of the period, the climate began to change drastically. Global temperatures plummeted, plunging the planet into a severe ice age. As massive glaciers formed at the poles, they locked up enormous amounts of water. This caused sea levels to drop dramatically, draining the shallow seas that had been the cradle of Ordovician life. The vibrant reefs were left high and dry, and the countless creatures that depended on them faced catastrophe. This environmental crisis triggered one of the first and most severe mass extinctions in Earth's history. It's estimated that over 85% of all marine species were wiped out. It was a brutal end to a period of such incredible prosperity. Trilobites, brachiopods, and many other groups were hit hard, with entire families disappearing forever. Yet life is resilient. Despite the devastation, the Ordovician period was not a failure. It was a crucial chapter that laid the groundwork for the future. The survivors of the extinction event went on to form the basis for new ecosystems. The innovations of the Ordovician, the complex reefs, the diverse invertebrates, and the first vertebrates were not lost. They were the essential building blocks for the world that would follow. So, the next time you look at the ocean, remember the Ordovician! Remember a time when the seas were a laboratory of life, creating the foundations for the complex world we know today. It was an age of both incredible creation and devastating loss, a powerful reminder of how dynamic and ever-changing our planet truly is. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey back in time. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Earth's history, please hit that like button and subscribe for more adventures into the story of our world. We'll see you in the next one.